Hello everyone. Today we are here to discuss the past year NEET questions on body fluids and circulation. This is the third part. So going on to the questions, the first question is: the lymph serves to transport oxygen to the brain, to transport carbon dioxide to the lungs, return the interstitial fluid to the blood, return the WBCs and RBCs to the lymph node. So we know transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide to any part of the body is done only by the RBC containing hemoglobins. Return of interstitial fluid to the blood or return of the WBCs and RBCs to the lymph node is the option we have to eliminate between them. So we know that lymph does not contain any RBC. It contains WBCs but it does not contain RBC. So this is the major factor that we can eliminate the option D. And also the major function of lymph is to return the interstitial fluid back to the blood. So that the option is C. An important function of lymph is to return the interstitial fluid back to the blood. This interstitial fluid is also called extracellular fluid or ECF, which is formed from the blood due to various factors, i.e. hydrostatic pressure and osmotic gradient. i.e. when the blood goes to the capillary, when it becomes capillaries, the capillaries thin out, and so there's leakage of fluid outside. Extracellular fluid goes out, so this has to be drained back into the blood to lymph nodes or else other systems. So the lymph takes care of this, but the most important thing is lymph does not contain RBC at all. So the option is return the interstitial fluid back to the blood. Antigens are present. Option A, inside the nucleus, on the cell surface, inside the cytoplasm, on the nuclear membrane. Antigens in case of blood are always present on the cell surface. So the option is cell surface. They are not present inside the nucleus, neither inside the cytoplasm or on the nuclear membrane, only on the outer cell surface. And that is when the antibodies can come and contact them. So that is the externalmost surface. Are foreign proteins which stimulate specific antigens of foreign proteins which stimulate specific immune response against itself when introduced in the body. They are present on the surface of the cell wall. That is when a rapid reaction can occur. So the answer is on the cell surface. A child of blood group O cannot have parents of the blood group. We know if someone has to have O blood group, the genotype has to be II or IO. Both are the same allele, so I am representing in two types. In some books it's given differently, so I am considering both. So it is recessive over both IA and IB, so it cannot be heterozygous, so it has to be only homozygous. So we have to consider the options. So here it's given AB and AB or O. So we know in case of AB it is IA IB. In case of O it is IAB or IO, it's IO or II. So in both the cases we get IA IB here. Here also we get IA IB or small I. We get IA IB or small I. We know, however the combination goes, it cannot result in O positive because O group, because II is not here. We have IA IB here, IA IB or I, only small I. So this is recessive trait. Even if we get IA it will result only in A group. If we get IB I, we will get only in B group. So O is not possible. Let's take A and B. A and B, even if they are let's consider that they are heterozygous. So IA I, IB I. So in this case II combination is possible and O is possible. There is a possibility of an O blood group child. Here also the same thing is possible, IBI or IBI. So II is possible. Here both the parents should have II. So definitely the offspring will be having only O blood group. The inheritance of blood group is determined by some allelic genes which are IA, IB and IO in in one individual, two allelic genes are present. IA and IB are dominant, while IO is recessive in heterozygous condition. So, if a child has blood group O, she must have IO, or she cannot have the parents of AB and ABO. That's what we discussed here. So, the answer is AB and AB or O. Cells formed in bone marrow include RBC, RBC and leukocytes and lymphocytes. So we know bone marrow majorly produces RBC, so we can eliminate both of these options. So does it produce only RBC? No, it also produces other cells of leukocytes. In fetus, liver, spleen, bone marrow, lymph nodes and thymus are hematopoietic organs, blood forming organs. In adults, most of the blood corpuscles form in peripheral region of red blood marrow in long bones. So example, take tibia, which is the leg bone. Here we have the red bone marrow. Here the RBC and other leukocytes are formed. So the option is RBC and leukocytes. A man with blood group A marries AB blood group woman. Which type of progeny indicate the man is not homozygous? So if not homozygous, we have to take him as IA, not homozygous, so we have to take IA IO. So since this is AB blood group, we can take only IA IB. So the progeny, so what blood group should the child have so that this man is not homozygous? So IA IO, IA IB. So if we consider this IA, so we have A blood group here, we have B blood group here. So we have A here, AB here, A here and B here. So the answer is option B. So if we have B blood group, it shows that the man who got married to the woman with AB is not homozygous but heterozygous, because in case if he has IA IB, B blood group is not possible, because IAA will also result in IAA will also result in IAIA will also result in IAA, IAIB will result only in AB. So there will be AB, A and A. So B will not be present. So if he is heterozygous, B will be present. That is what is explained in the below chart. Blood capillaries are made up of blood capillaries, not blood vessels, blood capillaries. Endothelium, connective tissue and muscle fibers. Endothelium, muscle fibers. Option C, endothelium and connective tissue. Option D, endothelium only. We know as the blood vessels small down, as they thin out, they lead to capillaries. The capillaries have only tunica interna, which is only the endothelial cell layer. The option is D, endothelium only. Genotype of B group father of an O group child. So we know if a child has O group, he has IO only, IO. So if the father has blood group, he cannot be homozygous. If he is homozygous, this blood group will not be possible. So he has to be heterozygous. So we have to search for IO IB. So this is possible. If the child has O blood group, IO, the father has B blood group, it has to be either IB or IB IO. But if the father has IB, then child cannot have IO. So the father must have IB IO. So this is the reasoning behind it. So the reasoning behind this is that IO is always recessive to IB and IEA. So they have not given about the mother here. So that is why we are considering only the father, and that is enough to consider the logic. The component of blood responsible for producing antibodies. So the options given are thrombocytes, monocytes, erythrocytes, lymphocytes. So we know thrombocytes, monocytes, erythrocytes. Erythrocytes are involved in oxygen transport. Monocytes are involved in the phagocytosis. Thrombocytes are involved in platelet plug formation and other stuff. So lymphocytes majorly produce the antibodies. Lymphocyte is the type of WBC in the vertebrate immune system. Lymphocytes are reasonable for making the antibodies, gamma globulins and stuff. So the answer is lymphocytes. Wall of the blood capillary is formed of option A hemocytes, parietal cells, option C endothelial cells, option D oxyntic cells. Parietal and oxyntic cells are present in GIT, so we can eliminate them. Hemocytes and endothelial cells. We know blood has three: tunica intica, tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. As the blood vessels thin out and capillaries are formed, there is only the tunica interna. So it contains only the endothelial cells. So the answer is endothelial cells. The wall of blood capillaries do not possess tunica externa. Tunica externa basically contains this lymph vessels and connective tissues. Tunica media will have the muscle layering that will only result in the contracting. Tunica intima will have only the single layer of endothelium, which enables the easy transport of fluids. Blood group AB has the options given are no antigen, B no antibody, C neither antibody nor antigen, B both antigen and antibody. So we know in AB blood group antigen. So in AB blood group there is no antigen. There are both A and B antigens but no antibodies in the plasma. So it's only no antibodies. Blood group A, antigen A and antibody B. So whichever we have on the surface, the exact opposite we have in the antibody. For blood group B, antigen B and antibody A or antibody B or B. So the blood group AB, antigen A and B and no antibody. So blood group O, no antigen and antibodies. So the option is no antibody. Which one engulfs pathogen rapidly? So engulfing of pathogens is called phagocytosis. So we know acidophils, the options given are acidophils, monocytes, basophils and neutrophils. So we know monocytes and neutrophils. We can eliminate these both. These are not involved in phagocytes. These both are involved in phagocytes. But here they are asking the most rapid engulfing. So we know neutrophils are the most abundant WBCs. So they are nearly about 60 to 70% of the WBCs. And when there's a site of inflammation, neutrophils are the first line of cells that go there, and then they are replaced by monocytes. So the answer is neutrophils. Neutrophils are type of leukocyte WBCs that can take all types of stains. So they are acid basic neutrals. They can take both acid and basic stains. It is most abundant, 60 to 70% of total WBCs, and most active type of WBC, i.e. they are most actively phagocytic in nature. Second is monocyte. Okay, so the answer is neutrophils. A person with blood group A requires blood. The blood group which can be given is, so we know if he is A positive, so his antigen has to be A, the antibody has to be B. So we can give O blood group. O blood group is universal donor, so he can accept the O blood group or the A blood group itself. So with the regarding options, we can take A and B, A and O blood groups. So the answer is A and O blood groups. A has A and antigen A and antibody B, so it can have the same blood group. O has no antigen and antibodies A and B, so it is called universal donor. Removal of calcium from freshly collected blood would, so the options given are cause delayed clotting, prevent clotting, cause immediate clotting, prevent destruction of hemoglobin. So we have to know the coagulation pathway. So we know first in the pathway prothrombin has to be converted to thrombin. So this is done by the enzyme prothrombinase. Okay, I'm writing in short form prothrombinase, which in action with calcium Ca2+ ions, this reaction happens. So for the first step itself, there is a requirement of prothrombinase and calcium ions. So if calcium ion is removed, prothrombin will not be formed. Thrombin is not formed. Thrombin formed is necessary for conversion of fibrin to fibrinogen to fibrin. So when calcium is removed, it causes preventing of clotting. Because the process of blood clotting starts when prothrombinase catalyzes the conversion of prothrombin into thrombin, this reaction takes place in presence of calcium. Now this thrombin converts fibrinogen into fibrin, which makes fibrin threads on polarization with blood corpuscles. It clots blood. So if Ca2 ions are removed from the blood, it will prevent clotting. It may be done by adding some anticoagulants, example sodium and potassium oxalates and heparin also, in blood as they precipitate calcium present in the body. So heparin does not block calcium, and sodium and potassium oxalates block calcium. Lymph differs from blood. This has been asked numerous times. In possessing option A only WBC, option B more RBC and WBC, option C more RBC and few WBC, option D more WBC few RBC. So we know lymph does not contain any RBC, so it contains only WBC. Lymph differs from blood in that it contains less protein and no red blood cells. Lymph contains white blood cells. So the option is option A only WBC. Mineral found in red pigment of vertebrate is, we know hemoglobin is red in color. So this contains an important mineral which is iron. So that is why iron deficiency can cause anemia. So when there is anemia, there is reduced oxygen carrying capacity, and that leads to fatigue. So that is why iron is present. Iron pigment is necessary for the hemoglobin pigment. So among the given options, magnesium, iron, calcium and copper, the answer is iron. Mineral found in red pigment of the vertebrate blood is iron. Thank you for watching.